Welcome back to Roll Again. I'm DM Steve, and today we have Megan, who's one of our players here at Roll Again. She was in the last campaign that we just finished a year ago, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her new character, Cricket, and then we're going to roll some dice to get some ability scores. So, Megan, tell us a little bit about your new character.
Yeah, I'm so excited to play as Cricket. The last campaign we did took a little over a year, and the character that I had was very like lawful good, and that was nice, and she was nice, and that's the adjective I would use for her. So I just wanted somebody who was a little bit more it's not like my old character, it was interesting, but maybe not as fun to play. So I wanted somebody who was more chaotic neutral, who would have a little bit of a mischievous side. And especially since we're doing this as the horror genre, I started to think about like, maybe I could have some kind of a child character or an immortal child, and so that's what we went with. That's what I went with. So Cricket Valentine is the daughter of Henry Valentine, the infamous mad scientist, and in his unrelenting thirst for immortality, he created an untested formula to make himself immortal, kind of like a philosopher's stone or a sorcerer's stone. And 7-year-old Cricket went into his lab and was a bit precocious and a bit overambitious for her young age of 7 years, and she was like, "What's this?" and just downed the chemical, and it did work, unfortunately for her. So so she's spending her life in that 7-year-old body. That was 200 years ago, but she's an eternal child and sometimes acts like a child and sometimes acts more like a very wise adult. So she's half elf. Her mother was an elf and her father was an alchemist, and she herself is an alchemist as well and an inheritor. So we'll find out a little bit more about that as the game goes on and as our characters begin to reveal themselves. She has one of those cool helmets with the rabbit ears on it. So when I play, I'll be wearing a rabbit helmet or mask. Haven't quite decided yet, but we'll have that on during gameplay. And she carries a sickle and sometimes a light crossbow. I don't think that I'll be carrying that during the gameplay, but I just thought, what's creepier than a little kid holding a sickle with a rabbit mask on? Yeah, so I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it'll be a little bit of wanting to help the team. I think it'll be a little bit maybe of stymieing the team, either kind of just because she's bored or because she's essentially 7 at heart. And other times, maybe there'll be a little more wisdom than people expect and a little more intelligence than people expect. So I think it's a really cool, multifaceted character. I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited too. This is a really interesting character idea to go with, and it's not something you see a lot of. I like it anytime we get past some of the traditional tropes that people utilize in Dungeons and Dragons, like I'm the dwarf fighter, or I'm an elf, a human, but we stick to very consistent traditional stuff. Sometimes it's nice to get really creative character ideas, and this is one of them, especially this eternal child process. So I think that's going to be really cool.
I was an elf who was royalty and had been basically disowned by her family. And I think the most interesting thing about that character was that we had a bag of many things. She drew a doppelganger, and that actually made her more interesting. But you're definitely right. I think especially starting out playing this game with that character, something a little bit more familiar. So this time, something maybe a little bit more creative, hopefully.
Yeah, Excellent. So what we're going to do now is jump into finding out what some of your abilities are going to be and kind of how high powered or low powered those abilities will be. And we're going to do that by rolling some dice, which is kind of the whole purpose of Dungeons and Dragons, but also of our channel, Roll Again. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see everything that I'm doing here. Can you see your character sheet?
Yes.
Awesome. You're just going to be able to see it go in, but I'll be able to. I'll send you a copy of this as well after we're finished too.
Okay.
So the first thing we're going to do is roll for your ability scores. I've already got a few in. You have a few modifiers that come with your class as a between your race as half elf and also an eternal child. That's a homebrew piece that has a couple perks to it as well that go into abilities. So basically, you're going to get +2 on your dexterity, whatever that's going to be, as well as +2 to your charisma, which is right off the bat. So I put those in just to
Tiny
remind
fingers
myself.
and a big smile.
Yes,
Got it.
tiny fingers is one of the nice things. The nice thing about an eternal child is you have boundless energy, which actually gives you a quicker base speed than most. You
Okay.
normally would have a 30 base speed, but you have a 35. So you get an extra 5 feet of movement because you have that boundless energy.
Nice.
So we're going to start rolling, and how we do it is it's one of the traditional methods, but it's one that I like to use the most, which is 4d6. We roll 4d6, and then we drop the lowest and count that as one score. So it's a total of 18 that you could possibly get. And then we'll do that 6 times, and then you'll get to choose which abilities you want to put your scores into. So go ahead and give me your first roll.
All right. We have a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. Great for Yahtzee, but not so much here.
All right, so we'll drop the 1, and that gives us a 9. That gives us a 9 to start with, which is not bad. Give me a second roll.
A 2, a 2, a 3, and a 4.
All right, we'll drop the 2, and that gives us another 9. You're at least consistent.
That's true. A 1, a 1, a 3, and a 4.
All right, that gives us an 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more.
We got 3 more rolls to go.
There we go. A 2, a 3, a 3, and a 6.
All right, that gives us a 12, which is a little bit better. Give me another roll.
A 1, a 2, a 3, and a 6.
All right, that gives us an 11. And do me a favor, give me one more roll.
Okay. A 1, a 2, a 4, and a 5.
That gives us another 11. Okay, so what we've got is, I'll start at the highest. We've got a 12, 2 11s, 2 9s, and an 8. So as we look at your sheet, for an alchemist, or which is a type of artificer, your highest score, you really want to focus on intelligence because it's also your spell casting ability.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go
And
with.
then
And
after that,
I'm thinking that being 7, the lowest one should probably be in strength.
that's a possibility. Yeah, that's a possibility, and it's not something that's going to hinder you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with an artificer, you would want to go intelligence first, and then constitution or dexterity would be your second highest choice, depending on how you want to play it. So, and those are both a little different. Dexterity is going to help your armor class. Constitution is going to help your hit points. So either one of those is going to help out a little bit. So your top score was a 12. Where would you like to put that?
We're going to put that in intelligence.
Okay. So that's a 12. And that gives you a +1 to your as a modifier for that. Okay, your second, you had two 11s. So where would you like to put those?
All right, I want to put the first in Constitution.
Okay, that's 11,
What's
and that
my
gives
next?
you, that's just a straight 0.
What's my
What's
next
that?
after the 11? What's my next after the 11? Is it a 9?
You have two 11s and then two 9s. So you have another 11 left.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I feel like character-wise, I probably would put the other 11. Well, actually, no, I don't want it in wisdom. I was thinking because of her age, I might want it in wisdom, but I don't think, I think actually she's going to be very smart, but not necessarily very wise, if that makes sense. So I think,
That
yeah,
does.
I think we'll put it in the deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dexterity.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have a +2 with that, so that's going to make you, actually gives you a 13,
Right.
and then that'll give you a +1 for your modifier for that.
Okay.
All right, so that's your two 11s. Now you have two 9s.
I would like one in the charisma.
One in charisma, which is going to make this an 11.
11.
Gives you a 0. It's just an even for modifier. Okay.
Okay. And then I actually think I'm going to put the other one in, yeah, I'll put the other one in wisdom. I think strength should probably be lower given the age range here.
You think wisdom should be lower than strength?
No, I think strength should be lower than wisdom.
Gotcha. So you're going to go with the 9 here and the
Right.
8 here. Okay.
Yeah.
And that will give you the 9 gives you a -1 on wisdom.
Okay.
And strength gives you a -1 as well.
Okay.
On those. All right, so let's see. Oh, the other thing is you do get, because of your half elf race, you do get you do get to raise intelligence. You can, well, I don't want to say intelligence. You can choose one of these to raise, to raise another point.
Okay.
Which would you like?
What is Constitution effect again?
Your hit points.
Okay. That's difficult. Between intelligence and Constitution, because she doesn't have really a lot of armor, right? So.
No, she doesn't. You have padded armor, which is light.
Right. Okay. So I guess I guess I want to add it to the Constitution.
Okay, so that makes it a 12, which gives you a +1.
Okay.
Your modifier, which is,
Good.
that will help. That'll give you a +1 to your hit point rolls. When you roll for your hit points, you'll get to add another +1 basically to them.
Okay.
All right, so that kind of gives us a good outlook right now of their starting point. Now, the other thing is we're going to be starting at level 5 for this. So
Okay.
you would have already passed level 4, where there's an ability score increase. So now you get to apply that, which means you can either choose. Now you get to, how's that?
That's good.
Now you get to apply that ability increase.
Okay.
So you can either choose one of these to add 2 points, or two of them to add 1 point to.
All right. Let's add a point to the intelligence. And then let's add a point to the strength.
Okay. That will, yeah,
There you go.
that's fine. That won't increase either one's modifier.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. All right. So that's our scores right there. And now we move to our now we move over here to our skills, and which ones you're going to be proficient in. You already get a few because of your race and class. And what that was is you get dexterity, constitution, and intelligence.
Can you zoom in on that?
Yeah, I sure can.
Thanks.
There you go. So your saving throws, you get dexterity, constitution, intelligence. So what that means for you right now is that your dexterity is a +1, and you have a +3 for your proficiency bonus. So that means you get a +4 to your saving throws.
Okay.
Constitution is going to be the same because you have the same modifier, and so is intelligence. So you get a +4 to those saving throws.
Right.
And the others are just your normal. You'll actually get a -1 to your saving throws for strength, a -1 to your saving throws for wisdom. This is not a negative, it's an underscore. And charisma, you'll just get a flat roll. So whatever you roll on the 20 for that is going to be good. Now your skills, which is in this section here, you already have proficient on a few skills. You're proficient on acrobatics, perception, sleight of hand, and stealth. But you also get to choose. Those are from your eternal child race or sub race. But you also get to choose 2 more from your alchemist class. So you can, I'm going to read, there's 6 of them that you can choose 2 of these 6 basically to be proficient in. So you can be proficient in arcana, which is magic knowledge, history, insight, investigation, medicine, or nature.
Okay. So based on the fact that she's 207, I'm going to go with history.
Okay.
And then how many do I have?
You get to choose 1 more.
Oh man. Do I want medicine or do I want arcana?
You have, just to keep in mind, you have 2 healers in your party already.
Oh, we do. Okay, then I'll go with arcana.
You have an arcane physician and you have a cleric. So
okay.
All right, so arcana. All right, excellent. And so those also get whatever your modifier is for that ability plus your +3 proficiency. So acrobatics is going to be a +4. Arcana is going to be a +4 to these. History, same, because it comes out of your intelligence. Perception is going to be actually a +2. Because your wisdom is a bit low. And then sleight of hand is going to be a +4, as well as stealth, which makes sense because you're little.
Yeah.
And I'll plug the others in before I send it back to you.
Okay.
So let me back out here a little bit so we can see some more. Okay, so now let's go to your armor class. You start with a 12, and that comes from an 11, which is your padded armor, has a natural 11 armor class to it. And then also you have your helmet, which gives you another 1. Now you add in your dexterity, which is a +1. So that's going to give you a 13 for your starting armor class.
Okay.
And then initiative is also going to come from your dexterity. So it's going to be your dex +1 plus the 2 that you get from being an eternal child. So +3. So that actually means that you're most likely, you've got a +3 to your initiative roll. So that gives you a bit of an advantage in initiative when we start battles. So you may often be the first person to start in a fight, basically.
But I can hold action if I don't feel like it's
You can
correct.
if you need. Yeah, yes, you
Okay.
can. It's just it's calculated between your dexterity and also being an eternal child and your boundless energy.
I
You
was
are a
gonna,
bit quicker than most people, so you would be the first to draw basically in a battle.
because Cricket's gonna be like, Cricket and Crash at your service. Let's go. Oh, I
Yes.
forgot to mention Crash. Oh my goodness. I have a homunculus that is a dog that Cricket put together. And it's gonna be like her little helper, her little pet helper.
Yes, yeah, you have a homunculus Crash, which comes out of actually your I'm going to scroll down here. You pass
The
the
alchemist.
infusions. Yep, your alchemist
Yep.
infusions. You have 4 of them. You have enhanced weapon, which you can make weapons a magic weapon. Homunculus servant, which is kind of where you get Crash from. Enhanced defense and replicate magic items.
Oh, I didn't know I had that one. Oh,
Yes.
fancy.
And you can also make an elixirs as an alchemist, and then I've put that here in your additional feature because you roll the d6 and that tells you which one you make. So that's in here as well.
Okay.
You filled in here. Your age is 207. Your height is 3'10", and your weight is 47 pounds.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Um,
That's right.
yeah.
And even though I'm a dark elf, I have pale white skin and white hair because Henry was an albino.
And a human.
So, violet eyes from my mother and the white hair and white skin from Pops.
Yep. Yeah, so and you can play with the height and weight a little bit if you want. Basically, when you told me you were going to be an eternal child, I just looked up average weight for 7-year-old girl, average height and weight. And that's where I got that from.
About right. I like that she's never going to even be 4 foot tall. I dig that. Actually. There's a roller coaster joke in there someplace, but
that's true. Yeah, she'll never get to ride.
Yeah.
You have a few other bonuses here or things that you get from your race, sub-race, or class. You have dark vision.
Yep.
That comes from being a half elf. So you can see in dim light within 60 feet as if it were bright light, and you can see in darkness as if it were dim. You have Fey ancestry. That's from half elf. So you get an advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic cannot put you to sleep. You actually have drow magic because your mom was a dark elf. So you know the dancing lights cantrip, which I've already put in. And when you reach 3rd level, you can cast Fairy Fire, which is also in your spell book already. And it recharges after a long rest. When you reach 5th level, you can cast Darkness, which is also in your spell book, and it recharges on a long rest. Your experimental elixirs, after a long rest, you can magically produce an experimental elixir, and that's what we just looked at, the table. And as long as you have an empty flask that you can put it into. And as an action, a creature can drink the elixir, or it can be administered to an incapacitated creature.
Okay.
Also, you have Alchemist Savant.
Yep.
Which is whenever you cast a spell using your alchemist supplies, you gain a bonus to 1 roll of the spell. So you can choose either a bonus to the attack or a bonus to the damage.
Okay.
And that part of that too is because not all your spells will have an attack roll. Some of them have a saving throw against them. So that's how you can do that. So now let us move into getting your hit points to find out how hardy you're going to be. So,
So
Cricket
hit
Valentine,
points. I do the
the way
one.
we're going to do this is it's the 1d8
Yep.
plus your constitution, which is a +1.
Okay.
For first level, I always start at max. So that would be 1d8, which is 8 is your max roll for that, +1.
Okay.
So you would automatically start at 9 for your first level.
Okay.
So give me a roll for level 2.
Can I do it again? I got a 2.
What did it come out as?
2.
No, you got to take the 2. If you roll a 1, it's a roll again.
Oh, okay.
So 2 + 1 = 3. Okay, give me a level 3 roll.
Oh, come on. 5.
5 + 1 = 6. Okay, give me a level 4 roll.
Okay. 3.
Okay, and give me a level 5 roll.
3.
All right, that gives you 26 hit points.
Okay.
To start at.
Oh, that's scary.
It's a little lower than most of your counterparts. I think the other people in the party are in the 30s a little bit. But you're a child, so that kind of makes sense as well.
Yeah, it's just crazy. You know, I had wild shape before, and when I got low, I could just change it to wild shape, and then I'd have like 80 hit points. So having 26, I'm like, she might have to be a little more careful than she wants to be. I'm sure somebody in the party will keep reminding her to maybe be on the edges a little bit, or to hold action and not go first every time.
That's true. Yeah, you might have to fight that desire to do that. So that kind of locks up everything we had to roll for and figure out. And so there's a few other things that I'll punch in some of I'll punch in all your skill scores for you before sending it on to you. And then let me get us back to our regular screen. There we go. So I'll punch in the last little bit before sending it back to you. Is there anything else that you wanted to let us know before we start the Haunted Heroes campaign in 2 weeks?
Not that I can think of. I think there are more things I know in the sheet that everybody's been looking at and that we've been looking at. Personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws are not filled in. I kind of, other than the bonds, I kind of have a list, but I really want, I like, as a writer, I like telling instead of showing, or I mean showing instead of telling rather. So yeah, I don't want to give away too much. And I think also like what I like about playing this game is that the characters, you know, they're on a quest, so they change quite a bit, you know, and they really, their personalities react and interact with each other. So I think that that's an interesting piece of the character development, and I'm excited to see, does Cricket mature a little bit, or maybe not, maybe not. Is she gonna find some more bonds, or her ideals gonna change? We'll see. We'll see as we go. That's the fun of the game. So yeah, that's it.
Excellent. All right, then we will wrap it up. Thanks for taking the time, for rolling up your character, and I can't wait to see them in play during our first session. For everybody watching, our first session is going to debut on YouTube on Thursday, June 24th. And so look for Haunted Heroes Session 1 on the Roll Again channel. Until next time, thanks for tuning in and keep playing.
Thanks, everybody.